Good morning, I'm Tori, and I'm here to take you through another simple, easy flow. So we'll get started in child's pose this time, bringing our big toes to touch and our knees out wide. Sinking those hips down, reaching your hands out in front. Just relax the head. And just begin to breathe in and out through the nose. Be nice and gentle here as we just begin to engage and wake up our bodies. The head, neck, and shoulders are nice and loose. Your arms can be slightly bent. And if this is your first practice of the day, maybe take the time to set an intention that you want to carry out throughout the rest of the day, throughout the rest of your practice. And with every breath, just begin to internalize that intention. To add some movement here. So we'll begin to make the palms flat against the mat. Make those fingers nice and wide. Bringing energy to your fingertips. And we'll slowly begin to walk them over to the right hand side. Bringing that chest heavy on the right thigh. And walking those left fingertips a bit further out in front. Breathing into the space on the left-hand side. Inhaling, expanding that left side body. Exhale, making a little bit of a banana shape a little bit more. And on your next inhale, we'll walk the hands through the center and then over to the left-hand side. This time bringing the chest on top of the left thigh and walking those right fingertips out in front. Maybe this left side or that right side body feels slightly different than the left. Just taking notice of any of those differences and giving each side equal love. We'll bring the hands back through center. This time we'll ground down nice and firm through those fingertips. Maybe so much so that your forearms begin to lift up off the ground. Bringing that chest towards the mat, the hips back towards the heels. We'll slowly begin to walk those fingertips a little bit more forward, lifting the chest. We'll bring the knees underneath the hips, and then we'll come into a puppy pose, bringing the forearms closer to the mat, bringing those armpits down, lifting the hips up, and then reaching for the forehead, nose, or chin towards the ground. You should feel a nice opening up through the inside of those arms. inhales and exhales. Feel free to breathe out through the mouth here. On our next inhale, we'll ground down through those fingertips and we'll pull ourselves forward onto our bellies. We'll bring the right ear to mat and the arms out to a T. Then we're going to take that left leg, we're going to bend it, and we're going to roll onto our right side and reach that left foot and those left toes towards that right fingertip. Opening up that left hip. Feeling a nice stretch through that upper back. The next inhale, we'll bring ourselves back to center. We'll bring our right ear to the mat and we'll lift the right leg and reach that back to the left hand. And opening up that right hip. Breathing into the upper back. We'll inhale, come back to center. And then we'll begin to move one breath, one movement. So as we inhale, we'll bend the left leg, reach over for the right hand, stay for the exhale. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, stay. Switching to the right side, inhale, reach back. Exhale, stay. And then inhale, come to center. Feel free to move with one breath, one movement. Maybe reaching back as you exhale. Inhale to center. Exhale, reaching back. Or you can stay for those longer breaths like we were doing in the beginning. Taking one more round on each side. This is too much for you, you can always just bend the knee and just move it over a little bit. You don't have to go all the way over to the hand. When we come back to center, we'll bring our hands underneath our shoulders. And then we'll bring our elbows underneath our shoulders. And we'll open up our chest, lift that gaze. The toes can be tucked or flat on the mat. Coming into a Sphinx pose. We want our hands nice and wide, really lifting up that chest. Make sure your elbows are underneath your shoulders. So maybe tuck those in a bit more. A nice proud Sphinx pose here. Bringing those heels in together, not letting them flop out, but creating a strong lower back. And from here, we'll tuck the toes, we'll lift the hips, come up onto the knees. Eventually bringing ourselves up to a tabletop. We'll come into some cat-cows here, once again still warming up that spine. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Feeling free to take any movement here. Just feeling into your body, feeling into your upper back, your lower back, your spine, your hips. Maybe look side to side. Whatever is speaking to you as you begin your practice. Feeling free to hold one position or the other. Taking one more round and then we'll meet back in a neutral tabletop. Bringing that belly button in towards the spine. We'll ground down through the right hand. We'll lift the left hand up. And exhale, thread that needle underneath, bringing the left ear to mat, walking up that right hand. One more breath here. And bringing the right hand back in. Ground down nice and strong through the fingertips. And then exhale, left hand down. We'll exchange for the right on the inhale. And exhale, thread that needle. Walk the left hand out. And breathe into the upper back. Hips still high. We'll walk the left hand back in, ground down, reach the right hand up towards the sky, and exhale, right hand back to the mat. We'll center here once more, inhale through the nose, exhale. We'll walk the hands out a tiny bit, we'll tuck the toes underneath, and then we'll lift the heels just about an inch or two off the mat. Really using that core, pressing down into those toes, pressing those heels back, engaging that core, nice and wide fingertips here. You should almost feel yourself falling forward. We want the weight forward into the fingertips, not just back into the palms. So if you can lift your fingers up, you need to bring your body slightly more forward. Beautiful, good adjustments. And we'll begin to lift the hips up, pushing that chest back towards the upper thighs and bringing the heels down. Coming into a downward facing dog. We're going to move a bit from that hovering knee position to down dog. So in down dog, we're pressing our chest back. Our hips are up, back, and then down with the heels. We're going to take that movement a bit further, so we'll lift the heels up nice and high, keeping the chest exactly where it is. And then we'll bring the chest forward and begin to hover those knees. Stay here for a breath. And then on the next inhale, we'll lift the hips up nice and high, high on those toes, and then exhale, bringing the hips down. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, bring yourself down. Stay for a breath. Strong, hovering knees. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bring those heels down. And once more, inhale and exhale. Building that fire, building that strength. Beautiful. Lifting up once more and exhale, downward facing dog. Feel free to walk out your dog here, bending one knee and then the other. Relaxing the head, neck and shoulders, shaking your head yes, nodding it no. And then finding your way to a stationary downward dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. At the bottom of that last breath, we'll begin to walk the hands back towards the feet, coming into a forward fold. Feel free to bend those knees as much as you would like. Again, letting the head hang heavy, maybe interlacing opposite hand with opposite elbow, taking ragdoll, swaying gently side to side if that's in your practice. Gently release the hands down towards the mat. We'll roll up one vertebrae at a time, doing your best to keep your attention turned inward, your gaze soft or your eyes closed. Just letting your body raise itself up towards the sky, lifting those shoulders and that head. Then roll the shoulders back, down, and away. We'll come into mountain pose. Feeling nice and firm through our feet. Maybe lifting those toes and placing them down one at a time. We'll often come back to this foundation that we're setting for ourselves here in mountain pose. Engaging those legs, slightly tucking that tailbone, chest and heart open to the world. Take one breath, connecting with that intention that we set in class. And we'll begin to open that gaze. We'll lift the arms up nice and high. We'll grab the right wrist with the left hand, and we'll reach over to that left side. Keeping the chest nice and open. Just like when we reach our hands over in child's pose, that's where we're at. We're still making that nice banana shape with our bodies. Breathing into that right side body. And then inhale, we'll come back to center. Relax the shoulders down. Engage and cup the left wrist with the right hand. And then we'll reach over to that right hand side. Opening up the left side body. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, we'll reach the hand behind us, interlace the hands into a fist, open up the chest, a slight back bend here, pushing those hips forward. And then exhale, we'll begin to bend from the hips, bringing that clasp over the head, and into a forward fold. Inhale, growing long through the spine. Exhale, let yourself fold. Inhale, exhale, fold, bending through the knees as much as you would like. This is your practice. Feel free to make it completely your own. And then exhale, we'll release the hands down to the ground. Inhale, we'll halfway lift, make the body in number 7. Exhale, fold, walk the hands out. We'll come into a high plank. Nice strong line from the top of your head to the backs of your heels. We'll inhale, rock the body forward. Exhale, lower down, knees, chin, chest. Inhale, we'll come into baby cobra, shoulders back, shoulder blades pressing back together, nice and light through those hands. And then exhale, we'll lower down and press up either through the knees or through high plank, coming back into down dog. Inhale, and exhale. We'll inhale, lift that left leg up, bend the knee, and we'll open up the hip, just like we were doing at the beginning of class. Might feel a bit more intense here, as we're in our 3-legged down dog. We're still pressing that chest towards the upper thigh. Inhale, we'll reach that left foot back. Exhale, left foot to meet right. One breath, and then on the next inhale, lift that right leg up, bend the knee, and open up the hip. Breathing into that space, chest pressing back. Inhale, extend the right leg. Exhale, right foot to meet left. Inhale, we'll reach forward, high plank. Exhale, rock forward and lower down, knees, chin, chest. Inhale, baby cobra, lighten those hands. Exhale, fold, and we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Feel free to inhale through the nose and exhale everything out through the mouth. do that once more. Then inhale, we'll look forward. Exhale, we'll walk those hands back towards the feet, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees, reach and rise, nice and high, extended mountain pose, shoulders away from the ears. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samastati. We're going to add on a little bit to that flow. So we'll inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, sink the hips down, coming into chair pose. Sinking that weight back into those heels. We don't want to stick our bum out. We want to tuck it underneath, a nice flat lower back. And then we'll reach the right hand forward and the left hand back. So our right knee might want to sink a little bit far forward. We want to pull that back. Beautiful. Maybe the gaze comes back towards the left hand. You almost want to feel the body reaching in opposite directions as you firm yourself down through those heels. On the next inhale, we'll come forward. And exhale, reaching the opposite direction. Inhale, reaching those hands out. Exhale, sinking those hips down, staying nice and strong, engaged through the belly and the breath. And then inhale back to center, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, walk the hands out, high plank. You'll have a choice this time to take the flow you did before, or if you'd like to, you can take Chaturanga Dandasana, lowering down halfway, keeping those elbows tucked in. Inhale, coming up to upward facing dog. Open the chest, relax the shoulders, and then exhale, down dog. Always, Chaturanga is just another option. If you'd like to just lower down knees, chin, chest, take it a little bit slower today. That is perfectly all right. Again, this is your practice. You need to do what's best for your body. On the next inhale, we'll lift that left leg up, open the hips. Exhale, we'll bring that knee in. We'll hover it just above. Bring the knee in towards the nose, rounding the upper back. And then we'll place that foot between the hands. We'll ground down through the right hand. We'll lift the left hand up. Exhale, we'll come back to center. We'll bring that right knee down. We'll press up. Low lunge. Inhale. And exhale, we'll straighten that front leg. Half splits. Inhale, back up to center. And exhale, frame that front foot, step back. And your choice to just take a flow, or feel free to press back, where we'll meet in downward facing dog. Coming into the right side. Inhale, lifting that right foot up. Feel free to open that hip. And again, exhale, knee comes in towards the nose. Staying for a breath. And then exhale, foot between the hands. We'll plant down through the left hand, lift that right hand up. Beautiful. Exhale, frame the foot. We'll come up into our low lunge, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. And on your next exhale, we'll straighten that front foot. And that front leg coming into a half split. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fold, flame the foot, step back. And once again, your choice to take a flow. Exhale, down dog. And the next inhale, we'll look forward. Exhale, walk the hands back towards the feet, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the hands, chair pose. We'll stay here for 3 breaths. Inhale, growing tall. Exhale, sinking into those heels. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, sinking, keeping that tailbone tucked. One more breath. And as you exhale, we'll press down through those feet and we'll just stand. Coming into mountain pose, take a breath here to recenter. And the next inhale, we'll reach the hands up, look up, extended mountain. Exhale, sink the hips down, coming back into chair pose. We'll do one breath, one movement here. So inhale, we'll reach forward, coming into that twist. Exhale, sink the hips down. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, reach to the other side. Stay for a breath. Inhale, coming to center. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, walk the hands out. And then your choice, either lower down halfway or all the way. Inhale and exhale, down dog. Inhale, we'll lift that left foot up, open the hips. Exhale, again, bringing that knee in towards the nose and then planting it down. We're going to come into warrior one, so we're going to bring that back foot down at a 45-degree angle. And the heel is going to be on the ground. And then we're going to press up. Nice bend through that left knee. Knee is over ankle. You're trying to bring your right hip forward and your left hip back. It's all right if you're facing out to a different direction a little bit, but try and bring those shoulders. Hopefully your hips will begin to follow those shoulders. Bending nice and deep. We'll interlace the fingers, releasing into our yogi gun. We'll reach back, squeezing those thighs together. If you're keeping a very special something in between, exhale, come forward. We'll reach the hands behind, open up the chest, and fold. Coming into our humble warrior. Bringing the fist above the head. Going long through the spine as you inhale. Exhale, letting your chest and head sink down. Trying to bring that left elbow on the or that left shoulder on the inside of that left knee. One more breath here. And then we'll release the hands down, frame the front foot, we'll lift the back heel, and we'll step the foot forward just so we're about 1.5 or 2 feet from heel to toe. And then we'll begin to straighten that front leg, coming into a pyramid pose. So again, that back foot, we're going to place it back down at the 45-degree angle. And we're going to grow long from our hips through our spine to the top of our head as we inhale, and exhale, fold just a bit more. Again, that front leg can be as bent as you need it to be, keeping a micro bend in that front knee at the very least. And then from here, we'll walk the hands out just in front of the foot. We'll bring the gaze to the top of the mat. And we'll begin to lift that right foot up off the ground, coming into a standing splits. Once again, we're pulling our body forward and down, knowing that shaking is all right here. And lifting that right leg up into the sky. And then from here, we'll move into a half moon. So we can bring that left hand out in front of us. Half moon on the left side. And then exhale. We'll bring the right foot down to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the hands, chair pose. Stay for 3 breaths. 2. Bringing those heels back so you can see your toes. And then exhale, press to stand, mountain pose. Take a breath here to recenter. And the next inhale, we'll reach and rise, extended mountain. Exhale, fold, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back, high plank. Inhale, rock forward. Exhale, your choice of flow. Inhaling to your back bend. And exhale, down dog. We'll come into the right side this time. Inhale, lift that right foot up. Exhale, bring the knee in towards the nose. Gently place that foot between the hands. And then we'll turn that back foot at a 45-degree angle. Bringing the right knee over the right ankle, we'll press and lift. Warrior 1 on the right hand side. Inhale, growing tall. Exhale, sinking into that front knee. We'll interlace the fingers overhead and then open the chest, drawing a line on the sky above you. Inhale, come forward. We'll interlace the hands behind. This time put the opposite thumb on top. It might feel a little bit awkward. We'll reach forward as we inhale, nice flat back. Exhale, bend down, humble warrior. Bringing that right shoulder on the inside of that right knee. Lifting those hands up above the head, letting your chest and your head fall heavy. Beautiful. We'll release those hands, frame the front foot, begin to straighten that front leg, and then we'll walk that back foot so that we're about 1.5 or 2 feet from the front foot, coming into our pyramid pose on the right hand side. Again, keeping a micro bend at the very least through that front leg. Inhale, growing long through the spine. Exhale, letting yourself fold forward. Nice wide toes here. We have a tendency to want to crunch our toes. We want to flatten them out, giving ourselves as much surface area to work with as we can, especially as we walk ourselves forward. Lift up that left leg, coming into our standing splits on the right side. Lighten those fingertips if you can. Beautiful. We'll bring the right hand out in front of our face this time. And we'll begin to lift that left arm up, coming into our half moon. Maybe noticing some differences. I'm definitely slightly more stable on this side than I was on the other. But finding your point of drishti. And then just breathing into that space. Long side bodies, opening up the heart. One more breath. And then exhale, we'll fold. Bring that left foot to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, drop the hips, lift the hands, chair pose. A little bit more work here. Staying here for 3 breaths. And on the last exhale, we'll press to stand, mountain pose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale everything out through the mouth. Now once more. And back to normal Ujjayi breath breathing. Noticing where you might have some tension in your body here. Maybe it's in your face or your jaw. Maybe it's in your shoulders. Maybe it's even in your hands. Just give your body a little shake. Just relax. breathe the tension out of your body. Inhale, bringing softness in. And exhale, just embodying that softness. And the next inhale, we'll reach up, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, jump or step back, high plank. Your choice of flow. Inhale to your back bend, and exhale, down dog. We've done a lot of work in our legs this morning, so you gotta show them a little bit more love. We'll inhale, reach that left foot up. Exhale, bend the knee, and then we'll bring the left knee to the left wrist, the left ankle to the right wrist, coming into a pigeon pose. Flexing the feet towards the knee. We'll sit up nice and tall to start. I like to center myself here on that left hip. Maybe checking behind, make sure that that right foot isn't wonky one way or the other. And then when you're ready, you can sink down, either making a pillow for your forehead or reaching those hands out nice and wide. Letting your body hang heavy over that left hip. Again, you're breathing into that space you're creating in that left hip. Letting your chest and your head and your shoulders feel really heavy. Once again, noticing where you might be holding extra tension. Just allowing that tension to release so that you can bring your attention to your left hip. Begin to press ourselves back up. So again, we're going to sit up nice and tall here. You might need to bring that heel slightly more in towards the hip. We're going to come into a sort of king pigeon. So we'll bend that back knee. We'll ground down through the left hand. We'll reach the right hand up and over, reaching through the inside of that right foot. You can stay here. If it's available, you can lift that right hand or that left hand up and reach over and back, eventually getting that head back towards that foot. But again, you always need something to work towards in yoga. If this is too much for your knee, you can just release that foot, or if you can't reach the foot, just bending it might be enough. If you need some extra cushion, feel free to put a blanket under your knee or to bend your mat in half. But wherever you're at, we'll bring that foot down. We'll plant down the hands, straighten that right foot back, and we'll lift up into a three-legged downward dog. Give that leg a nice shake. And bring left foot to meet the right. Take a breath. We'll move into the right-hand side. Inhale, lift the right foot up. Exhale, right knee to right wrist, right ankle to left wrist, coming into pigeon pose on the right hand side. Again, checking behind us, sitting up nice and tall, opening up that chest. And then when you're ready, on your next exhale, we'll lower down over that right hip. Feel free to take a different arms than you did on the left hand side. And maybe you notice some slight differences between the left and the right side. just like when we were in half moon. Just acknowledge those differences. Don't attach any positive or negative feeling to them. Maybe just acknowledge that your right or left side might need a little bit more love. And through that, allow yourself to just love your whole body as it is at this present moment. We'll slowly begin to press ourselves back up. Sitting up nice and tall. And we'll prepare ourselves once again to come into that king pigeon. Bending the back knee. If this is enough, you can stay here. Or if you'd like to, you can reach that left arm back for that left ankle. Opening up the chest and the hip. And then once again, if you'd like to, you can reach that left arm up. And then begin to reach back. We'll slowly begin to come out of this. We'll plant the hands down, straighten that back leg, and lift up. Give that right leg a nice little shake. Bring the right foot to meet the left, downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll look forward. Exhale, we'll walk the feet out nice and wide. Inhale, halfway lift. Make the body a number 7. The feet should be as wide as the mat. And then we'll bring the hands to heart center. And we'll sink the hips down and lift the chest. Coming into Malasana, our yogi squat. Crow is in your practice, feel free to take that here. And if you'd like to just sit in Malasana, that's completely fine. We'll all find our way back to Malasana together. And then we'll begin to reach the hands back. We'll sink the hips down and we'll lift the feet up. Coming into a boat pose. Boat pose, keeping our chest open, bringing the hands either by the side, out in front, or up above the head. We can keep the knees bent, almost at a 90-degree angle. You can let the feet touch the ground, or if it's in your practice and available, you can straighten those legs out, pointing those toes. We'll take 5 breaths here. Telling yourself shaking is good. 2 more breaths. Last breath. And then we'll slowly lower down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Come into a good morning stretch. And then exhale, we'll bring the knees so that they are bent and the soles of the feet are down on the mat. Feet can maybe just barely be scratching the backs of your heels. Naturally, there's this nice little curve in our lower back. On your next inhale, we're just going to press that into the ground. And then begin to lift the hips up towards the sky, coming into bridge pose. Beautiful, really lifting those hips up. You can take your hands if you'd like to and support your hips, Or maybe stick a block just underneath, or excuse me, just above your tailbone. A little bit more restorative that way. Or maybe you interlace the hands underneath, really opening up those hips and that chest a bit more. And then exhale, we'll slowly release. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug, rock side to side. We'll take the big toes and our peace fingers. Bring the knees in towards the armpits. Come into our happy baby pose. Again, feel free to play around here. Maybe noticing how happy baby might feel at the end of practice compared to if you do it at the beginning. We'll bring our knees back in towards our chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. We'll keep that right knee tucked in. Let that left leg fall out straight. And then bring the right knee over the left. Coming into a supine twist, allowing that head to drop to face the opposite side of the knee. You can keep this hand on the knee if you'd like a little bit more intense of a stretch. In our twist, or just tee out both arms, doing your best to keep both shoulder blades firmly planted on the ground. Inhale, bring the right knee back in, left knee in to meet the right, give yourself a hug, and we'll straighten that right leg, bring the left leg over, tee out the arms, and again, letting the gaze fall opposite to the knee, keeping both shoulder blades firmly planted on the ground. Allowing your head, your neck, your shoulders to be soft. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. If there's anything else you'd like to do before you close out your practice, feel free to take the next few minutes to do that now. But if you're ready for our final pose of practice, we'll begin to straighten the legs out towards the corners of our mats, letting the feet flap open, tucking the shoulder blades underneath the chest, slight lift in the heart, hands facing up, coming into Shavasana, our final pose of practice. Starting from the head, let's begin to scan the body, releasing tension in the face, in the jaw, in the neck, in the shoulders. Allow that attention to wander out through your right arm and out through your left. And coming back through the heart center. Noticing those shoulder blades making contact with the mat. Allow yourself to feel heavy, to also feel open. Bring that attention down through the abdomen and the pelvis, down the right thigh, and then the left. Noticing that space underneath both knees. Noticing how your calves make contact with the earth, your heels, and your feet and your toes. As you sit here in Shavasana, just taking a time to be gracious and kind towards yourself. We're taking the last few minutes for your practice. The last few minutes to be present and to be still. And with that, I will leave you here. Namaste.